Never seen a locksmith like this before. Just because he designed the safe himself, no one on earth can crack it. Feeling too lonely without a rival, so he built himself a safe and put himself in it to sleep for the rest of his life. Although the old locksmith had been dead for 100 years, but his safe is still in use by banks. The old locksmith designed 4 safes in total: the Gold of the Rhine, the Valkyrie, the Siegfried, and the safe that remains unaccounted for, Twilight of the Gods. The first 3 safes have been used by 3 banks. Our protagonist, Jack, has been obsessed with lockpicking since he was a child. The story of the old locksmith is also Jack's favorite. Cracking the old locksmith's safe, it was Jack's lifelong dream. By the age of 18, he had already reached the level of lock king in his own lockpicking skills, but Jack is now 28 years old. His lockpicking skills hadn't improved in 10 years. It was a frustrating situation for Jack. He turned on his computer to listen to a song to lighten his mood. A message popped up in his email. Jack's attention was drawn to it. Would the master be interested in entering a lockpicking competition? When he heard it was a lockpicking competition, Jack didn't even think twice about moving on. The opportunity to improve his skills was here. When he arrived at the designated bar, the place was already full of people. The biggest names in locksmithing were all here. Just as he was dazed and confused, the host gave the word. Round 1 begins. Jack opens the safe with ease. No pressure to move on to the final round. Soon the second round begins. This time, the safe was even more complicated. The crowd thought Jack was just a lucky passerby, but the next scene left them stunned. It turned out that Jack had always had a habit. He had to get stuck in everything he did, so stuck on the last one to finish, skillfully opening the locker door, making it through to the final. A dark horse is born. In the final, there was a legendary safe. The opponent started to turn the combination lock right away. The look on his face, you can see it's very difficult to crack. Jack doesn't panic and starts talking to his opponent, talking his opponent into a state of distraction. With 30 seconds left on the clock, Jack is on the move. He puts his hand on the safe. He feels the inside of the safe with his mind. Jack opens the door with one easy twist. Jack is a winner. A girl in the crowd caught Jack's eye. Little did Jack know at this point, this girl would change his life forever. The girl is Alina, the world's most wanted burglar. She had found Jack in order to invite him to steal the legendary safe. Knowing Jack's obsession with the old locksmith's safe, so she verbally provokes Jack. Alina tells Jack, now that the zombie crisis has broken out, the world is in turmoil. If you don't act, you may never get to see for yourself the old blacksmith's amazing work. Jack was impressed, and he agreed to do it. To Alina's base, the rest of the team showed up one by one. Mary, the genius hacker, the bearded man with the best car skills, and the forceful Mike. Jack introduces himself briefly. The group arrived in Paris first. The safe here is the Rhine's gold. Jack pretended to have to pee to get into the bathroom. Alina enters the bank dressed as a noblewoman. After stealing the security guard's key, they managed to get into the VIP section and went to deposit the items. Taking advantage of the fact that the manager wouldn't be back anytime soon, Alina used the security guard's key. She managed to rendezvous with Jack. The two of them stood in front of the safe. Jack was struck by the delicate patterns on the safe. This was one of the safes left behind by the old locksmith. The Gold of the Rhine. 210 million combinations of codes. Faced with this legendary safe, Jack was both nervous and excited. Jack then ritualistically played a piece of classical music, putting his ear to the combination lock, gently turning his fingertips. Feel the metal inside rubbing and clanging. The more complex the safe, the more combinations there are. If you are not careful, it can be locked forever. Jack listens intently. In no time the locks are in place. Jack turns the wheel. The safe door opens with a click. It took 2 minutes and 11 seconds. The first battle was won. Looking at the vault full of cash, the two men were very excited. But it wasn't the money they were excited about. It was the fact that they had cracked legendary safes. Rhine's gold. After taking a token amount of cash, they were ready to leave the bank vault. Walked out of the bank door. They were met by their teammates and escaped without incident. Jack didn't think stealing from a bank would be so easy. The men were celebrating their success, but little did they know, they'd been alerted by Interpol. The man in charge, Smith, had been tracking the team for 3 years. He knows them well, and guessed that their target was 4 of the old locksmith's greatest hits. He was about to set up a net at the second target location, Prague Bank. Catch them all in a net. On the other side, the group rushed to the second stop at the Prague Bank. The safe used here is the legendary Valkyrie, but the place is heavily guarded. Smith is already heavily armed to meet them. Firepower is all around the bank. If they miss, it is death without a grave. Jack uses fake IDs to get into the bank. Mary hacked into the security system, giving Jack a safe route. The lift doors open. 2 bank guards approaching. Alina can only strike hard. Looking at Alina's incredible strength, Jack couldn't even breathe a word. After taking care of the guards, the two of them made it to the bank vault. Faced with the difficult Valkyrie, with the same 3 combination locks, but it was far more difficult than Rhineland's gold, 430 million combinations of codes. Already far beyond the limits of human cracking, Jack tried the same trick again, listening to the song once more, seemingly forgetting that it was a race against time to steal. With Alina's constant prodding, Jack only slowly made his move, but this time he clearly underestimated the Valkyrie. Jack misses his first move. The combination lock popped back instantly. This is the safe's self-protection feature. 2 wrong entries in a row and the safe will be completely locked. He only had one last chance. Worse still, the security guard in the surveillance room noticed the anomaly at that moment. The alarm is activated. Mike realizes the situation is critical, putting on his hood and preparing to rob the bank. Buying time for Jack, Mike bursts into the bank and fires his gun directly into the air. "Don't move. My gun doesn't have eyes." By this time Smith was also impatient. He went straight into the bank, and he was dumbfounded. The Valkyries are housed in one branch because of the overly cumbersome insurance mechanism. Smith wasted his time. On the other hand, Jack is once again possessed by the god of locks. As the 3 locks were broken, Jack flicked the combination plate. The safe is successfully opened. The 2 men quickly entered. "Start loading cash quickly." Knowing that Jack and Alina had got it, Mike starts to retreat. The team car has been waiting for them. After pulling Alina into the car, Mike pushed Jack straight out. He chose to leave Jack behind. Jack was left to fend for himself. Thief is truly miserable, working with his teammates to commit a crime. Betrayed by teammates at the last minute, the police are coming behind him. Jack has no choice but to run away. He grabbed a bike from the side of the road, and he's on the run. He made it to a train. Jack escaped the police, but Jack's heart was filled with sadness. Weeks of time together had not been enough to exchange heart for heart. On the other side, the escapees had fallen out. The betrayal of their teammates. Alina doesn't want to go on with Mike. She took her sister Mary and separated from him. Alina doesn't want to be the next one to be sold. In the meantime, a frustrated Jack returns home. Alina comes to his door and encourages Jack to take on the last safe. Siegfried. Alina's invitation was too much to resist. Jack hesitates but agrees. Siegfried the safe is in the city's most famous gambling town. At this time Smith was depressed by the failure of the hunt. While searching for information on the old blacksmith, Jack's face popped up. Smith rushes into action. Overhearing the 3 Jacks' conversation, Smith quickly arrived at the casino, offering to take over the safe here. However, the supervisor told Smith a group of police officers had already removed the safe. It was the Alina trio. Once again, Smith has been tricked. The van with Siegfried in it is speeding down the road. With time running out, they were going to break it in the van, but Jack is completely absorbed in the lockpicking atmosphere. The safe was more like a work of art to him. It was also a communion with the soul of the legendary old blacksmith. Touching the huge safe, Jack couldn't get his mind off it for long. This time it was very difficult to say the least. There were 7 layers of codes, more than 7 billion permutations. But we've come this far. How could he give up so easily? Jack immediately put his mind at ease and got into the swing of things. The riches in Mike Kelly's safe. He used his phone to locate Alina's coordinates. At the same time, Jack had unlocked the 6th level. But then something unexpected happens. The road takes a sharp turn. The hooks on the 7th level are now extremely vulnerable. Jack punched the safe with his hand in a fury. Unexpectedly, the hook is accidentally pushed in. The 3rd legendary safe. Siegfried. Jack has cracked it once and for all, but as soon as he got out of the car, he saw Mike held up in front of Alina, threatening to hand over the treasure. Fortunately, Alina had anticipated Mike's betrayal. She had scrapped Mang's gun beforehand. The 2 men handcuffed Mike to the back of the car. When Smith arrived, he was arrested on the spot. The 2 men then chased after Alina, who had fled. Just as they were about to escape on the yacht, Smith stopped them at the dock. Alina turned around and pulled out her gun. Smith was confronted, but Alina in order to cover Jack, to let Smith catch him, but only if he lets Jack go. And Smith thought twice before agreeing. And Jack, who had escaped with his life, looking at the passport Alina had prepared for him, and the tickets to their common destination, Jack knew he was uncontrollably in love with Alina. He vowed to wait until the day Alina was released from prison to be reunited. 2 months later, a worldwide zombie crisis breaks out. In Las Vegas, a mysterious couple brought Jack with a drawing. It was the safe that had been unaccounted for. Twilight of the Gods. The invincible Jack is about to embark on another journey. Will he be able to open the 4th safe? See you next time.